I never thought my own sister would betray me like this. I mean, we weren't exactly best friends growing up, but I always assumed there were some lines even she wouldn't cross. Turns out I was wrong. For context, I, 25F, have always been the responsible one in my family. The overachiever. The one who studied hard, got good grades, and actually worked for what I wanted. My older sister Olivia, 27F, on the other hand, she's the type of person who somehow always gets what she wants without even trying. Popular, charming, effortlessly confident, the kind of person who talks her way into things instead of working for them. Despite our differences, I never really resented her. Annoyed? Sure, but I figured that's just how she was. She took the easy road, and I took the hard one. No big deal. Until she took my road. For years, I had been working toward a dream job at a prestigious company in my field. I did everything right: internships, certifications, networking, you name it. When I finally landed an interview, I thought my hard work was about to pay off. And honestly, the interview went amazing. They seemed impressed, and I walked out feeling confident that I had it in the bag. Then I got the rejection email. I was crushed, obviously, but I figured maybe they just found someone with more experience. That was, until a week later when I saw Olivia's LinkedIn update. She got the job. The exact same job I applied for. At the exact same company. I stared at the screen, my stomach sinking. This had to be a coincidence, right? She wasn't even interested in this field. She had never mentioned applying. She didn't even have the qualifications. How the hell did she get it? I called her immediately, still hoping for some kind of explanation that made sense. But the second she picked up, I could hear it in her voice. That smug tone, that little laugh she does when she knows she's won. "Oh my God, you found out already," she said, like it was some kind of joke. "I was going to tell you." I felt like I had been punched in the gut. "Tell me what? That you stole my job?" She actually laughed. "Relax, it's just business. You'll find something else." I saw red. For years, I had let her take what she wanted. My clothes, my friends, my ideas. And now, my career. She had gone too far. She thought she could just get away with it. That I would do what I always did, shrug it off and let her win. Not this time. She wanted to play dirty. Fine. Because if Olivia thought she had stolen my future, she had no idea what was coming next. Growing up with Olivia as my sister was like playing a game where the rules were always rigged in her favor. If I worked hard for something, she found a way to get it easier. If I achieved something, she made sure to overshadow it. And somehow my parents always excused her behavior. When we were kids, it was annoying but manageable. I'd save up my allowance to buy something I really wanted, and Olivia would just throw a tantrum until my parents got her the same thing. Usually a better version. If I made a new friend, she'd immediately charm her way into the friendship and somehow become their favorite. But as we got older, the things she took from me started to matter. In high school, I spent a year working part-time to afford a good laptop for my schoolwork. Olivia got one gifted to her for Christmas without lifting a finger. When I landed an internship I was beyond excited about, my parents decided to take a spontaneous family vacation, which meant I had to decline the opportunity because there was no way for me to commute while they were gone. Olivia, of course, had no problem going on the trip. I let it slide. Every single time, because that's what I had been conditioned to do. Then she stole this. The job wasn't just a job, it was the culmination of years of effort. I had spent my entire college career making sure my resume was perfect. I took on extra certifications, networked at events, and pushed myself to stand out in an industry where opportunities like this didn't come often. I was ready. I had earned this. And when I got the interview, I knew I had nailed it. The hiring manager seemed impressed. I answered everything flawlessly, and I left the office knowing I was the top candidate. Then the rejection email came. I was crushed, but figured maybe they just found someone with more experience. I was trying to move on when Olivia posted her LinkedIn update. She got the job. I felt sick. At first, I thought it was some cruel coincidence, but the more I thought about it, the less sense it made. Olivia wasn't even in this industry. She had never shown any interest in this field. She didn't even have the basic qualifications. How the hell did she get hired over me? I called her immediately, demanding answers. She picked up with that smug tone she always had when she knew she had won. "Oh my God, you found out already," she giggled. "I was going to tell you." "Tell me what?" I snapped. "That you stole my job?" She laughed, actually laughed. "Relax, it's just business, you'll find something else." That was the moment I felt something inside me snap. I went digging, determined to find out how she pulled this off. It didn't take long to uncover the truth. Olivia hadn't even applied for the position. She had never sent a resume, never done an interview, never even considered this field. So how did she get hired? Simple. She was dating the hiring manager, the guy I had spent weeks impressing with my qualifications, the guy who made me believe I actually had a fair shot. Turns out he was Olivia's latest fling. She casually mentioned wanting a new job, and he pulled some strings. Just like that, she waltzed in and took the opportunity I had worked my ass off for. She hadn't earned it. She didn't even want it. She just saw something I wanted and decided she'd take it because she could. For years, I had let her get away with things. I had let her take what she wanted while I swallowed my anger and told myself it wasn't worth the fight. Not this time. She wanted to take something from me? Fine. But she had no idea what I was about to take from her. I wasn't going to let this slide. Not this time. The betrayal burned deep, but I wasn't about to throw a tantrum like Olivia would have. No, I was going to be smart about this. I wasn't just going to take revenge, I was going to make sure she felt it. First, I needed more information. I started with the hiring manager, aka Olivia's latest fling, Ryan. I knew that if Olivia had managed to manipulate her way into this job, there had to be more skeletons in his closet. It didn't take much digging. Ryan had a history of hiring people he was personally involved with, and not just Olivia. A quick search through company LinkedIn profiles showed a pattern. 3 other women, all with 0 experience, all hired within a year of dating him. This wasn't just favoritism, it was shady. Even better. A little social media stalking revealed that Ryan wasn't as exclusive with Olivia as she thought. He had been flirting with other women online while handing her my job. I couldn't have scripted this better if I tried. Now I had leverage. Next, I needed to get inside the company. If I was going to expose this mess, I had to be close enough to see it firsthand. I reached out to a few connections, and within a week, I landed a freelance contract with the same company, different department, but close enough to keep an eye on Olivia and Ryan. And let me tell you, Olivia was struggling. She had no idea how to do the job. Simple tasks that should have taken minutes took her hours. She relied on Ryan to cover for her, but even he was starting to lose patience. Employees whispered behind her back, rolling their eyes whenever she spoke in meetings. It was delicious to watch. But I wasn't done yet. I started planting little seeds of doubt around the office. Casual conversations with co-workers where I'd innocently mention how strange it was that Olivia got the job despite having no background in the field. I'd ask if they had ever noticed how Ryan's new hires always seemed to have one thing in common. People talk, and soon they were talking a lot. Then I dropped the bomb. I sent an anonymous email to HR, detailing Ryan's hiring patterns, complete with LinkedIn screenshots of the women he had hired. I attached some particularly flirtatious messages he had sent to another woman, one that Olivia definitely wouldn't approve of. And just for good measure, I threw in a detailed breakdown of Olivia's incompetence, complete with examples of her work mistakes. I didn't have to wait long for the chaos to begin. Within days, HR launched an internal investigation. People were whispering, side-eyeing Olivia in the hallways. Ryan looked like he hadn't slept in days. The tension was thick, and Olivia, she was freaking out. Then came the breaking point. An emergency company-wide meeting was called. HR presented their findings: nepotism, misconduct, and multiple ethical violations. Ryan was fired on the spot, his entire career gone in an instant. And Olivia? She wasn't just humiliated, she was exposed. With Ryan out, she had no safety net, no one to cover for her incompetence. She barely lasted 2 weeks before she was unceremoniously let go. Not fired outright, just conveniently phased out, with no new projects assigned, no promotions, and no way forward. She had stolen my future, and in return I made sure she had none. But I wasn't done yet, because while Olivia was dealing with the fallout, I was already setting up the final piece of my plan. I wasn't just going to ruin her job, I was going to take everything. I wish I could say I felt bad watching Olivia's life unravel, but honestly, I didn't. She had spent years taking from me, my things, my friendships, my opportunities, and never once faced any consequences. This time, though, she wasn't just losing something, she was losing everything. The HR investigation had already gotten Ryan fired, and without him covering for her, Olivia was completely exposed. She barely lasted 2 weeks before she was quietly let go. Not officially fired, because that would make the company look bad, but frozen out. No new assignments, no projects, no future in that office. At first, she tried to play it cool. She told our parents she had quit because it wasn't the right fit, and acted like she had a backup plan. But I knew better. Olivia had never been good at hiding when she was panicking. She started reaching out to old connections, trying to secure another job. But people in the industry talk, and the rumors had already started spreading. Did you hear about that girl who only got hired because she was dating the manager? Yeah, apparently she didn't even know how to do the job. Total disaster. I heard she got fired right after her boyfriend did. Sketchy as hell. Of course, I had helped those rumors along. Nothing blatant, just little nudges in the right places. A few anonymous emails to industry blogs. A couple of harmless whispers in LinkedIn circles. And the best part? The story blew up. At first, it was just a few whispers in office gossip networks. But then, one of the industry blogs picked it up. The article didn't mention her name outright, but anyone in our field could put the pieces together. The hiring scandal, the nepotism, the incompetence. And just like that, Olivia became radioactive. Recruiters stopped calling her back. Hiring managers ignored her applications. Companies didn't want the drama that came with hiring someone whose entire career had been built on connections, not competence. She was screwed, but I wasn't finished yet. Because losing her job was one thing. Losing her image, that's what would break her. Olivia had always been obsessed with appearances. She carefully curated her social media to make it look like she had the perfect life. Successful career, loving boyfriend, thriving social life. So I made sure all of those crumbled at once. The cracks in her relationship with Ryan were already showing. With everything that had happened, Olivia was stressed. And when Olivia was stressed, she became unbearable. She started lashing out at Ryan, blaming him for everything, because in her mind, none of this was her fault. But Ryan, he had his own secrets. Remember how I found out about his pattern of hiring women he was involved with? Well, turns out Olivia wasn't the only one he was mentoring. I had the receipts, flirty messages, inappropriate late-night texts, a whole mess of DMs that Olivia definitely wouldn't approve of. So I made sure she found them. I didn't even have to do much. I just created a fake account, sent her a few screenshots, and let her self-destruct. And self-destruct she did. It started with screaming matches at home. Then came the passive-aggressive social media posts. You know the type. Some people never appreciate what they have until it's gone. Then came the full-blown meltdown. One night, she stormed into a fancy restaurant where Ryan was having drinks with some colleagues and caused a scene. Screaming, crying, throwing a drink in his face, the whole thing. And because karma is beautiful, someone recorded it. The video made the rounds online, getting shared across Twitter, Reddit, and even a few gossip sites. Olivia was officially a laughingstock, the final blow. By this point, Olivia had lost her job, her career prospects, and her relationship. She tried to do damage control, but it was too late. She attempted a few half-hearted rebranding efforts online, posting about new beginnings and focusing on self-growth. She even tried launching some wannabe influencer nonsense, but no one cared. She went from being the golden girl to completely irrelevant. Meanwhile, I thrived. Without Olivia blocking my path, I found a better job, one where I was actually respected for my skills. I moved into a beautiful apartment, far away from my family's endless favoritism. And for the first time in my life, I didn't feel like I was living in her shadow. The best part? She still has no idea I was the one who took her down. She thinks it was just bad luck, that the universe just randomly turned against her. And honestly, I'm fine letting her believe that, because while she's still picking up the pieces of her self-inflicted disaster, I'm out here winning. And I don't feel bad at all. You'd think after all that, Olivia would learn her lesson, that maybe, just maybe, she'd take a step back, reflect, and realize that her entire downfall was her own doing. Nope. Instead of taking accountability, she went into full victim mode. She started telling everyone that she had been sabotaged, that jealous co-workers had conspired against her, that Ryan had betrayed her and ruined her reputation, that she was being punished for being a woman in a male-dominated industry. It was pathetic. Even my parents, who had always blindly defended her, weren't buying it this time. My mom kept saying things like, "Maybe you should take some time to figure out what you really want," which was her nice way of saying, "You messed up and we all know it." My dad, he just told her to stop wasting time and get another job. But that was the thing. She couldn't. Nobody would hire her. The article about her nepotism scandal was still floating around, and no serious company wanted to risk the bad PR. Recruiters ignored her. Former colleagues avoided her. She tried applying outside of our industry, but the problem was, Olivia didn't actually know how to work. She had never built real skills because she had always cheated her way in. Now that her shortcuts were gone, she was completely lost.